Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm back. And apparently, you guys like the spider web. I got some messages that you enjoyed the spider web. So today we're going to use the spider web again to talk about an interesting subject, which is content versus context. Okay, so we're going to be going for content versus context. Obviously, we live in a time where we are surrounded by so much content. Never in the history of humanity have we had so much information in our pocket. And this, of course, opens up many opportunities, but also creates some other situations which are uncomfortable for all of us. Everybody feels the need to create content, everybody feels the need to consume content, and a lot of our opinions are manipulated by content. Anyway, the velocity of it in the last few years has been getting out of hand, and this is where we are at. So, in this talk about content versus context, I wanna, how do you say? I wanna say that context is the real important thing in life and not content. And capoeira is an amazing art form which teaches us to understand context and not content. So a lot of the capoeira, since it's so vague and no rules and no winners, and so many lineages and so many traditions, so a lot of people have questions. And the only answer to this question is always, it depends. And we teach that in level one in the first week. Everything, it depends, it depends, it depends. And we want you all the time to ask why. So the first stage in understanding context is all the time to ask why. Why do we do it like this? Why is this happening like this? Why am I feeling like this? Why am I thinking like this? So when you're looking for the context, it means you're going one level deeper than when you are at, right? So you can understand more. And once you understand more, you're trying to go one more level and one more level and one more level. So the same way we use the spider web to talk about this idea of the development of capoeira through lineages, you can use the same spider web to play with any idea. And today I want to play with an idea that's close to my heart this week, which is events. And again, this is not a long video about events, it's just to show you how you can play with the spider web to understand more. So this weekend I'm doing a big event, that's why it's on my mind. And as I'm planning for an event, as the event is getting closer, I constantly want to understand more context. Okay? So if it was too much to deal with the whole spider web, a good place to start is at least with four threads. Yeah. So you ask yourself, like four questions about something might give you already enough context. But of course, then afterwards, it's endless. As you keep going, you're going to see that every situation has endless connections. Okay. So in the level three, actually, when we work with the team leaders, then we talk more about events. There's a whole week about the events, but the events, they need to have like every event has three ingredients, like a cake, right? There has to be something that has to do with education. Every event, when you meet people, has to have some element of education. Somebody needs to learn something. Another element of the event has to be motivation. So the event needs to motivate the people to something, and the person that organizes the event needs to understand this. Who are the people? What's going to motivate them, and in what direction? Another aspect of an event is inspiration. inspiration usually comes in the form of, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. Wow, she. It usually comes automatically from just seeing a wide variety of people, different ages, different body types, different levels, different backgrounds. So that usually creates the inspiration. Yeah. So for example, that's already, I think that if you start to asking yourself when you're planning the event, these three questions, already you are going to get a whole different context for your event. Okay. Now, people that don't ask these questions, they get stuck on content. When should I do the opening hoda? Should I divide the hoda into 2 or 3? Is it traditional to have the atabaki on the right or on the left? All of these little things that are bothering people in capoeira are content. And as long as that you're the level of content, you will get stuck there forever. Remember, it's just like being in the spider web. It's just like being in the spider web and just getting stuck here all the time. Right? But the real question should be is, why do we make events? What is the purpose of the event? How is the community going to look after the event? Okay? These are things that as we ask ourselves the questions, we get more context, and then it's very clear to know what we need to do. Now there's different angles here. For example, there is a little angle here that for some people, for example, this angle here, which has to do with maybe respecting their master or respecting the lineage. So many people, they're afraid to change the structure of the event because they want to do the event, or they say that they want to do the event the way their teacher does it and the way the teacher of their teacher does it. And they want to do the event in that way in order to respect the lineage. And I get it. It's important. I think every event should respect the lineage. Should the respect for the lineage be in number one position? I don't know. That's up for every person to decide. It's true. Every event should have some kind of resemblance or some kind of respect to the lineage. Okay. But I don't think you should be afraid of changing things out of respect for many reasons, but I will just give you one. Many of the old masters, what we call the Velha Guarda, they were pioneers, visionaries, entrepreneurs, mavericks. They saw things that nobody saw, and they created out of their imagination, out of their passion, and out of their deep connection with their communities. And they created. They created something that was very relevant for that time. Now you can build on that and create something that's similar, but that's relevant for your time. So you see, you're still respecting the lineage, but I'm not sure that you're respecting and again, this is just my gut feeling. I'm not sure that by being a traditionalist, you are necessarily respecting your master, which was an innovator. You understand? So maybe you can balance them both. Maybe it's not about this or that. Maybe you can respect your master by saving some of the things that he did and bringing them today. Maybe you can respect your master by taking some of the things he did and translating them into modern language. And maybe you can respect your master by understanding the context of where he was dealing, what he was dealing with. And now you understand the context of what you are dealing. And by innovating, you might leave a mark on capoeira generations in the future. So there's different ways of respecting the lineage. There's also another angle that some people are just too lazy to think and don't want to really get out of their comfort zone. So they use the lineage excuse. No, I'm protecting the lineage. I cannot change anything. I cannot think. I don't want to think. I cannot think. I'm protecting the lineage of my master. Okay. So you see, when you throw, the thing is to be playful here, not to be strict with yourself or with others. You throw an idea into the circle and you start showing different angles that are connected to this idea with no emotional attachment. I'm not attached to any of these ideas. I'm just trying to understand context. The more lines I can make and understand, the better the outcome is going to be. The more lines I can draw that are exactly far from my personal opinion, I will have a more complete opinion. So for some of us, it's very, very hard. But for example, in capoeira, if you don't take it so personal, you can almost like imagine you're an alien and you don't care, you're not invested in it. And you can just see the whole game from the top, and you can see all the good things and you can see all the bad things, and you're not judging because you don't care. There is no good and there is no bad, and you're just filling up the circle, right? So, for example, maybe just as an exercise, you take some kind of idea that you've been thinking about, that we've been talking about lately, and you throw it inside here and you play with it on a piece of paper and you see if you can challenge yourself to find an angle that wasn't coming immediately. Immediately, you're going to get like 5 or 6 lines, which are your vision. And then you need to start expanding the vision into areas which are a little bit less comfortable. Okay. So I think, like everything in the world that is changing very, very fast, Capoeira is also changing very, very fast. And part of the change of Capoeira in the future is going to be a little of an upgrade for the event structure. There's going to be different kinds of ways of doing it. Okay. Um, this weekend, I'm testing out something new. I'm playing with my gut feelings about a new structure for an event, which is actually not a capoeira event, but an event that has capoeira inside. Because I'm in a phase where I need to attract and I want to invite a lot of people to try capoeira, right? So I'm at that stage. But actually, if you think about it, you are all at that stage. And I don't care even if you have 1,000 students, it's just a drop in the bucket, right? And you can be helping tens of thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of people. So there's different kinds of events out there. There's a lot of knowledge about events. We can take from yoga, we can take from CrossFit, we can take from BJJ. We can start opening our eyes, and instead of positioning ourselves, we can start trying to understand more context. I hope you understand. I hope you enjoy. See you soon.